Shravanam Diaries podcast.
Hare Krishna everyone, we're continuing to read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute, texts 12 and 13. Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhum ahustvam rishaya sarve devarshir naradastatha asito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bhavishime. Devarshi Narada, look at that, there he is. Okay. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now, you yourself are declaring it to me." Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher. For here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, "You are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And previously Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they're absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by His grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth, in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. Actually, I remember this happens, right? Like sometimes friends, they flatter each other. That's the whole point. Like I remember many times devotees, they say that you have to associate with the peers, with the equals. You have to associate with the equals, right? Because if you associate with the seniors, you usually serve the seniors, right? You serve the seniors, you listen to the seniors, you imbibe everything the seniors give you. And with the juniors, you show them compassion, you show them mercy, you tolerate, right? The juniors. But it is with the equals that you laugh, roll on the floor, encourage each other, right? When somebody is like, if equal is showing you something, you're happy for them, right? Because usually the juniors, they will be a little bit envious, or like not even envious, but they will be a little bit like not super happy for you, basically. Although sometimes if the juniors are very pure, they will also be happy for you. And actually everybody will be happy for you if they're not envious. But what happens with the equals is that they flatter each other sometimes. I just remember I have a friend, her name is Anya, and I call her Anichka. She's married to my godbrother. She lives in Mayapur. And she is a professional fire tamer. I don't know how to call it. She can dance with the fires. She can dance with fire poye, fire stick. And the thing about fire poye, before she came to Krishna consciousness, she was moving fires like with her hair open and completely. When you see her, you just get stunned and you get goosebumps. And she's amazing. She's so amazing that I remember she was dancing one time in Vrindavan, one performance. we've put her in between the performances, and she starts dancing, and a friend of mine and another friend of mine, she starts screaming, "Goddess of fire!" because the performance was so overwhelming and so beautiful. And actually it was the first time she just joined our drama group, the Cloud of Nectar drama group, and she kind of didn't really manifest that. We knew that she does poya, we knew that she does fire, but like sometimes when you focused on your own partiture and you focus on your own like performances, basically you don't get time to. And then many times during the rehearsals people are not giving their 100%, but when they're on the stage they give 100%, right? So she was on the stage and she was dressed in a certain way. Of course she started like doing all of these flips and all of these curls. Her how do you say, crown move is when she takes these poyas, she flips them so that they would be like 20 centimeters away from you, and she starts rolling them one after the other, making like a chakra of fire and putting it right in front of her chin and taking her head back. Like it's almost like like the fire it's just like it's far out. So my friend, she was like, "Goddess of fire." So it's not the same thing here, right? When Arjuna is saying Parambram, Paramdham, he doesn't say that because, oh Krishna, you are the supreme God. No, he's actually, Prabhupada is saying that it's not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, right? Friends always flatter each other just because they're happy to have each other, right? I always flatter all of my friends and all my friends are always flattering me. Like my friend Ekanta, she would be like, "Oh, you are the all-knowing." I'm like, "Yeah, right." And I tell her that, "Oh, you're the best," and this and that. But here, let's read further. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction. Did I say Vedic? It's confirmed by Vedic injunction. Each and every word. Okay, I need to calm down now. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam. Smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. This is very important. Disinfected from sinful activities. And many times we think that sinful activities, they're just like these indulging appetites, or like skeletons in the closets or cockroaches in the head. That's our sinful activities. And basically, from here we understand that sinful activities are like this infection that we're diseased with, and to be disinfected from it, you have to surrender. Like yesterday, me and my friend Lila Deepa, we were discussing that past couple of years, 2020, 2021, this year, so many people's like skeletons from the closets are coming out, and you can see people for what they are. And I remember how His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj, he was saying that, he was quoting from somewhere, of course, that when a devotee, he is grinded against the stone of circumstances, the aromatic, fragrant, like sandalwood paste of Sharanagati comes out, meaning the paste of surrender to the Lord, surrender to God comes out. And I'm like telling Lila Deepa that, yeah, and when we are grinded against the circumstances, like what comes out of us, that's like, really interesting. All of our cockroaches, skeletons in the closet, all of these come out. Infection comes out, poison comes out, so much nonsense comes out of us, right? So much nonsense. Like Lila Deepa said, she was very much disappointed with humanity because of this war present going on. And I told her that I was disappointed with humanity, like when the coronavirus started. Because that's why now, like, I just see that, yeah, different situations, they bring out what's inside of the people, something you never noticed before, but it was always there. That's why it's all out now. So, yeah, we cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the supreme pure, complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. Remember Devarshi Narada? It's confirmed by him, and he's a great personality. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. See how nicely this sounds, right? Just think, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, he's telling you, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Always meditate upon him and enjoy your transcendental relationship with him. Sounds good? It sure is. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, and histories. In all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described. And the Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter, quote, "Although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles," unquote. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. Jai! This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here, Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these 2 verses. You see, this is important because many times Mayavadis and impersonalists, they're like, oh, we're not going to comment on the entire Bhagavad Gita. Chatushloki is the one that is the essence of everything, so we'll just comment on Chatushloki and that's it. No. Chatushloki is the essence, but in order to understand the essence, you have to understand this next 2 verses, which are response of Arjuna. And here Prabhupada says, if we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to accept the statements in these 2 verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Academic education is not just some education where you go to some karmi or like mundane or like worldly and university and then you get your education. Even devotees sometimes make the education in the way that you don't really understand Bhagavad Gita deeply. And these devotees, they're not like on a very super advanced level. They're doing their best, but you have to see what to take and what not to take, where to encourage, where not to encourage, where is your level, where is their level. And in that way, you take advantage. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. So, I'm not saying that devotees by default, they would give you wrong purport. But I'm just saying that unless you really know who Krishna is, you will think he's an ordinary person. And that's exactly what we've been talking about for the past, I think, couple of years. What, years? No, I wanted to say months or weeks. But in my personal practice, it's been going on for past couple of years. That's the truth. That I would think that Krishna, he is just like me, right? Remember we were saying that, I don't know what to do with my life, Krishna also doesn't know, right? Or I don't remember what happened, Krishna also doesn't remember, right? Or I have needs, Krishna has his needs, that's why he's torturing me like that, right? I am masochist, I am a sadist. Krishna is also masochist and he's a sadist, right? So this is thinking that Krishna is an ordinary person. So if we are studying Vedic literatures, if we are studying Bhagavad Gita and we stick to this obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person, like I've heard it from a friend of mine also, some years back, that Krishna is mean, he's just mean to his friends. No, Krishna is not mean, he is intelligent, he is kind, he is sweet, he is merciful. This is what Krishna is. He is the supreme truth, he is the supreme Brahman. What does Arjuna say? He is the absolute truth, he the eternal, transcendental, unborn, the greatest, the purest. Right? All the sages confirm this. So unless we accept it, it's not possible to understand Bhagavad Gita. Jai. Text 14. Sarvametadritam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidurdeva nadanava. Keshava Hariva. Remember that song of I forgot their name actually, the band, they had this song. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was Om Keshavaya Namaha Namaha. I forgot. They also had the song Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. But my favorite song is There's Something on My Mind, but I Don't Want to Talk About It. Very nice devotees. So let's not digress. Although I'm not like speaking all of this because I'm like uncontrollably remembering some stupid songs, right? They're not stupid, they're devotional, first of all. And second of all, like, I know what I'm doing to some extent, at least. Like, I'm not that stupid, right? Okay, so let's read the translation of this verse, okay? This is actually what I've learned from marriage life, you know? In marriage, if you tell your husband something, he's not going to do it just because he has this ego that just because my wife told me I'd have to do something opposite. But if you just say some things out loud in the air, just like as if you're just talking to yourself or thinking out loud, things get transmitted and accepted. Krishna Chaitanya. Okay, so translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Purport. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. Wow. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna re-established that disciplic succession with Arjuna, because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Jai. So we will continue tomorrow with Arjuna will be saying that Krishna knows himself, and how exactly that there will be a request from Arjuna, and then Arjuna, he will establish Krishna as supreme mystic. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on shravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna